Okay, so we have tonight this very special class on the spiritual energy of the month of Av. So this is a big shout out for all the Leos out there. Anybody born in from this period of the month of the year. Special shout out for our favorite Leo, because who knows who was born on Tisha B'Av? Mashiach. So a big shout out to our favorite Leo that's going to save the world, B'ezrat Hashem. We'll get back to that. Okay, so we're going to try to analyze the essence of the month of Av from many different perspectives, as we usually do. And that is that, first of all, by the name of the month, by the number of the month, and then we go to the Sefer Yetzirah, the book which is attributed to Avram Avinu, that also gives us a sense of the month, as well as a constellation of the month. And then if we go to a letter of the month, what? And the letter of the month, and then there's also the tribe of the month. And the Arizal, whose Yahrzeit was today, so he taught us that there's also a special way of expressing the name of Hashem in every single month, meaning that there's 12 different ways of writing out Yud Kei Vav Kei, and each way is corresponding to one of the 12 months, and that can also give us a spiritual model of how to understand the energy of the month. Okay, so let us begin. Let us begin with the number that of the month of Av is actually before that. It's important to note that the name of the month, the name of Av is Aleph Bet. So there's a very important Torah from the Kedushas Levi, from the Badishaver, that the Badishaver says that Aleph Bet stands for Aror Baruch. Stands for Aror Baruch. Okay, Aror is cursed, Baruch is blessed. So the month of Av is cursed and blessed. Why? Because it actually is divided into two. That when we're talking about the essence of the month of Av, so the truth is that Av is not monogamous. It's not. No, that's the wrong word. It's not the same thing throughout. It's maybe. No, but it's not. It's not chalak. But rather, there's a big break in the middle. That the first half, the first 14 days of Av are Aror. They're cursed. And that's why they're days of mourning. And Tisha B'Av is in those days. It's like the beginning of is 9 days. We're right now. We're in the morning, and then from Tu B'Av, it's actually very happy. The Tu B'Av we get out of Tisha B'Av and we go to Shabbos Nachmu, and Tu B'Av it says Lo Haya Yamim Tovim BeYisrael, like Tu B'Av and Yom Kippur. Okay, so these are like one of the happiest days of the year. Okay, well, hopefully I'll have a whole class on that. I'm thinking actually of doing a Farbrengen for Tu B'Av. Okay, so maybe we'll do. I don't know. I have to figure it out. We have. It's next. It's the Tuesday, the week after Tisha B'Av, Tuesday night. So yeah, of course it's soon, and it's also it could be like maybe we'll do something about love and relationships because it's about shidduchim and stuff. So anyway, it's Jewish Valentine's Day. So, but it's also connected to the Binyan Beis Hamikdash, and it also has very very deep spiritual roots, and so from Tu B'Av is happiness and simcha. So it's Baruch. That the second half of the month is Baruch. The first half of the month is Aror, and that's the meaning of Av. Av is Aror Baruch. Okay. So what we're talking about whenever we're talking about Av, so by definition we're talking about that it's multifaceted, meaning that it's a journey. Okay, what we're talking about Av is there's not going to be one way, one vibe, one flavor of the month of Av. That it is something that has a switch and it has a turnover in the middle. Okay, so now the number of the month is number 5. So Chodesh HaChamishi, and so in Kabbalah, so the number 5 is connected to the sphere of Hod. Okay, what is the sphere of Hod? So Hod means glory. Hod means glory. It says that the Hod is connected to Aharon HaKohen. And so that's why in the Ushpizin and Sukkot, so each of the 7 days of Sukkot, so we have a special guest, which is corresponding to the Sphira. And so the first night is Abraham, the second night is Yitzchak, the third night is Yaakov, and then it's Yosef, and then it's Moshe, and then it's Aaron. Aaron is the fifth. So I skipped. Sorry, let me know. Yosef is Moshe, Aaron, Yosef, Moshe, Aaron, then Yosef, and that's why. So Aaron is connected to the fifth Sphira. It's the fifth night, and because Aaron is connected to Hod, why is Aaron connected to Hod? So part of Aaron's personality, part of his essence is that he is the one who works in the Beit HaMikdash. The Beit HaMikdash is the place of Hod. Okay, it says that Jerusalem is the Hodah Shel Olam. It's the place of the glory of the world. Okay, and the Beit HaMikdash is the most glory of Yerushalayim. So when we're talking about the essence of Hod, so the place in which the Hod of the world, the glory of the world is revealed, is in the Kodesh Kodeshim, in the Holy of Holies, in the Makom HaMikdash. So that's why it says by Aaron, it says that by Aaron HaKohen, so there's a special mitzvah of Bigdei Kuhuna, that there's a special priestly garments. And the Torah says that Vasita Bigdei Kodesh LaAaron Achicha LeKavod LeTivaret, that it should be for glory. Okay, that the Kohen, and especially the Kohen Gadol, he especially needs to dress himself in a very majestic way, okay, in a very regal way. And this is the Beis HaMikdash is a place where we actually care about what external things, about the way that something looks on the outside. Okay, that what sometimes we deem as superficial, so the Beis HaMikdash is not. The Beis HaMikdash needs to be the most beautiful place in the world. The Beis HaMikdash needs to be a place full of gold and full of sapphires and full of the most amazing architecture, the most amazing everything. It's supposed to be a place that you go and it's wow. Okay, and it's a place that really elevates the entire superficial externalities of the world, and it makes this glory, this beauty, this aesthetic beauty, into something holy. So that's what Aaron represents, and the fact that Aaron passed away on Rosh Chodesh Av, that the Torah already records that the Yartzeit of Aaron HaKohen is Rosh Chodesh Av. So that really tells us that was the predecessor of the fact that Av is going to be a day of losing this Hod, of losing this glory, losing this greatness. And it was destined already from then to be a day that the glory of the world is going to be destroyed. Okay? And that is obviously the Tisha B'Av. So both the first Beit HaMikdash and the second Beit HaMikdash were both destroyed in a difference of 480 years. But to the day, it was the very same day that the glory, the beauty of the world disappeared, was destroyed. So this is we're talking about the number 5. So this is a reference to something of an elevated beauty. There's something about the month of Av. It's about that there should be a beauty, and it's missing. Okay, it's a time of appreciating external aesthetic beauty, and that it should be in a certain beautiful way, and it's not. Okay, now Aaron HaKohen, that his Yartzeit is Rosh Chodesh Av, so his midot are midot that are actually very, very connected to this month, and because we know that he is Ohev Shalom V'Rodef Shalom, that he knows that Shalom, that we know that, and the Hefkanah, I understand. So Aaron HaKohen, we're talking about the month of Av, and we're talking about the fact that Aaron HaKohen passed away in Rosh Chodesh Av. So Aaron represents that this midah of Ohev Shalom V'Rodef Shalom, that he is the one who's always searching after peace. Okay, and he's really over here. The air conditioner goes. If you want, he's the one that really knows how to how to make peace between people, and he's very connected to the midah of the month, and that is shmi'ah. Okay, then we'll get to that later, but Aaron is the one who's making peace, and if you want to make peace, then you need to be able to listen. Okay, if you're going to be just stuck in your own narrative, then you're never going to make peace. Okay, so we said that in the Sefer Yetzirah, so it connects the month of Av to a letter, that is the letter of Tet. So what do we know about the letter Tet? So the Gemara says in Bava Kama Nun Hey, that the letter Tet is a good letter. It says Haroeh Tet v'Chalom Yitzapeh L'Tov, because the first time that the letter Tet appears in the Torah is Vayara Ta'ar Kitov, that Hashem saw that the light, that it was Tov. So Tet is for Tov. So there's something positive about the letter Tet. So what's the problem? So the Zohar says that it's true that Tet is goodness. However, it says it's very beautiful that it says in the Gemara Yitzapeh L'Tov, that he should look forward to goodness. That the Zohar says that the letter Tet, it does have goodness. However, that Tuvech satim v'gavech v'ganiz begavech, that your goodness is clogged up and concealed. Hadao d'chtiv marav tuvcha asher tzafanta l'reyacha. That David HaMelech says to Hashem, your goodness is so great that you have concealed, that you have put away, stored away for your righteous ones, and that there's a goodness, but it's ganuz, or haganuz. Okay, so in fact, when it says Vayar Ta'ar Kitov, so what does it mean Vayar Ta'ar Kitov? That he thought that it was too good. And that first day, the light of the first day of creation, in which this Tet is revealing itself. So what does it say? What did Hashem do to that light? He said he saw it was good, but he saw that it was too good for this world, and that if we put it in this world, then the evil people are also going to be able to benefit from it, and it's going to be tragic. So he put it away for tzaddikim. And that's the concept of Or HaGanuz. Okay, you might have heard of there's a wine company that's Or HaGanuz. There's a yeshuv Or HaGanuz. So it's the Or HaGanuz is this light which is put away, hidden away for the tzaddikim. In Chassidus it says that it's hidden in the Torah. So it's actually available. Actually, you don't have to. It's not like it's gone. It's available. Just you have to know how to find it. You have to know how to see it, how to look for it. So the Tov of Tet, the Tov of Vayar Ta'ar Kitov. So it's a goodness. However, it's a goodness which is concealed. It's a goodness which is hidden. Okay. So the month of Av has an amazing goodness, but we don't see it yet. It's a goodness that you need patience for. Okay, and that is like makes a lot of sense that in the number 9, so Tet represents in Gematria, it represents the number 9. So who knows 9?
I know 9.
You don't know 9, okay. So right?
Tet.
So Tisha Yarchei Leda.
Okay, that really was.
Yeah. So 9 are the months that a baby is born, right? So Tisha Yarchei Leda. So this is a tov. The 9 months of pregnancy is a tov which is very concealed. Okay? It's like there's a lot of goodness. There's goodness in there, but you can't see it.
So Tet, maybe we can understand Tet in the dream as a looking forward to discovery,
there's a goodness there. There's a goodness there, but it's not yet. It's right now. It's still in the process of developing. Okay, and what's also very interesting is that in the way that we write a Tet, so there's a discrepancy within the minhagim of how to write the letter Tet. That let's see if I have a pen. Thank you. So So the way
He's doing Sofer style. Oh, he's doing.
so this is the way that can you see that? Right? Yeah, I usually can do better, but I forgot a little bit. So this is the way that you write a tet according to Chabad, according to.
Of course, Chabad is the only way.
According to the real way now.
Maybe Chabad is the real way. I'm just saying that they always have their own thing.
Fair enough.
According to other customs, so this is the way.
You do a Zion.
Right here. This is the way. So the question is that how does one write a tet? Is it a chaf and a zayin or a chaf and a vav? Okay. So according to Chabad, so it's chaf and a vav.
How's it written in the
So
Torah?
that's the question. How to write it in the Torah?
So Chabad Torah was completely different.
Meaning in Ktav Ari, the way that the Ari said that there's two versions as to what the Ari said. He said to change a lot of zayins into vavs. For example, everyone agrees that according to the Ari, in a shin, so the left part of a shin instead of a zayin it should be a vav. In a what else? In a
Now I can't think of what the Torah
Yeah.
looks like in the Torah.
Anyway, in a lot of ayin, in the ayin, so according to the Ari, it's a vav instead of a zayin. So there's different letters that whatever that there's a different way to write a tzaddik that. So, but according to the Shulchan Aruch Harav, so the tet is written a chaf and a vav, which is what's chaf and a vav? It's 26, which is the name of Hashem. Okay, which is good. Okay, that's Hashem is. If Hashem is there, so light is there, goodness is there, blessing is there. That means that's a good sign, right? Whereas chaf zayin means it's like one off. Like it's like, whoa, you blew it. You were almost there, but you went too far. Okay, so according to the approach that it's Chav Zayin, so it's actually a day of that there's too much. There's too much. You missed the Chavav, you missed the Or of Hashem, and according to the Shulchan Aruch Harav's version, so you got it. It's the light. Okay, so it's very appropriate that like in Chabad. They see the end. They see the geula. They're already in the geula. You know, there's like I love how in Chabad they love to make fun of how Litvish are so into mourning.
Well, maybe the Litvish are just simply more.
I remember when I was singing Shiva, so this it's actually ridiculous, but like I was. I had a Torah. I had a Torah on my table. I was sitting low with a low table, and like a Litvish rabbi comes in, and he looks at me. And, are you sure you're allowed to learn Torah? I said, well, I mean, like one of my kids took the Shulchan Aruch, so I figured I'll learn the Torah. I'm learning Hilchos Avelos. Like, yeah, I think you're allowed to. So he said, not sure. Well. I hope you're not doing it too much be'iyun. I hope you're not like learning it too much in depth, because that might be like you might just get too excited and like that might be just forgetting about the fact that you're And so and there was like there was a Chabad rabbi. There was like just that was like talking about that for months afterwards. There was like there was there at the same time, and it was just it's really like it's sometimes Litvish are like really like they're into how much the Avelos is, and Chabad are more into like, come on, like Avelos is nice, but like let's get into Geula, you know. So it makes a lot of sense that according to Shulchan Aruch Harav that the tet, that the letter of Tisha B'av is going to be a letter of Or, it's going to be a letter of Chavav, a letter of Shem Hashem, and whereas everyone else, when I'm like, you know the joke that why is it that on Purim, so we read we read one of the psukim, the two of the psukim we read, and according to the melody of Echa. Right? That when it talks about that there was a gezerah, that it says everyone was vayir shushan navocha. So we read that in the Megillas Esther. We read it according to the melody of Echa, which is from Tisha B'av. So why on Purim do we have a melody of Echa? So they say because we want the Litvish also deserve to be happy. You know, Purim is a day everybody needs to be happy. So the Litvish also, so the way we make them happy is to remind them that of Tisha B'av.
It's okay, we're still in the Vela.
So then they ask, okay, if we want to make the Litvish people happy, so we should read the Hamagila according to Echa. So no, that would be too happy. That would be like
That'd be too be'iyun.
That would be they would just like that. That's like you're not allowed to lose it. You're not allowed,
Right,
so
right.
they would be like drunk on happiness. Like so the most of the world they focus on the Avelos, and that's the Chav Zayin, but in the Shulchan Aruch Harav that's the tzura of Chavav, the tzura of Tes is Chavav, which is really focusing on the light. Okay, so now the Arizal teaches that that every month has a certain siruf of Yud Kei Vav Kei, and what's really fascinating about the month of Av is that the siruf is Hey Vav Yud Hey. Hey Vav Yud Hey. So why is that special? Because in our vernacular, like when we talk about the name Yud Kei Vav Kei, so we don't usually say Yud Kei Vav Kei. We call it the Shem Havaya. That's the way we refer
Why do we do that?
the way we refer to Yud Kei Vav Kei is.
Then if you translate the word Havaya into English,
So Havaya is actually a Hebrew word, which means reality. So when we refer to the Shem of Yud Kei Vav Kei as the Shem Havaya, and which means the name of reality, which is actually the name of the month of Av. Meaning this is the one month that we refer to Yud Kei Vav Kei as Havaya. Okay? Interesting thing that
One month that we refer to Yud Kei Vav Kei as Havaya. I thought you said we always.
So
no, it's always different ways of organizing the letters of the Yud and the Hey and the Vav.
For different months,
But,
you're saying.
yeah, but
this is the one that we use
in
as
Av,
Havaya.
the
Gotcha.
conjugation of Av is Havaya, is Hey Vav Yud Hey. Okay, which tells us that that first of all there's something very, very overarching, very universal about the month of Av, and also that what does the word Havaya mean? It means reality. Okay, when we're calling Hashem Havaya, so what we were saying, that's another way of saying that Hashem is the reality. Okay, and when we're saying that Av is Havaya, so we're saying that Av is actually the reality.
Which is curse and blessing.
There's something about
Inspiration.
something about Havaya, something about the month of Av is that to be focused on what's missing, to be focused on destruction, that this is actually being very real. Okay, or in other words, that the rest of the world the rest of the year we can be a little bit happy-go-lucky. We can like ignore the fact that we, like I was telling my students on Thursday that our feeling, the feeling that we should be experiencing on Tisha B'av is a feeling that we just lost everything. Okay, it should be the feeling of the Klausenberger Rebbe when he just realized that his wife and 11 kids were killed. It's like to start that we have lost, that we have nothing. That if we would realize where we should be, if we would realize that what it would be like if there would be a Beis HaMikdash, and contrast that to what we are, it would be worse than waking up tomorrow morning and realizing that you're no longer a human being, you're a cockroach. Okay? Somebody told me that there's actually a Kafka story about that.
Yeah,
But,
metamorphosis.
so, but that's the feeling. That's the feeling that we should be feeling on Tisha B'av. Okay? That what the heck? That I'm supposed to be so much greater. I'm supposed to be feeling God's presence. I'm supposed to be feeling my neshama. I'm supposed to be feeling spiritually in tune. And what the heck? Where is it? And this scream, this shout, this terror of loss. This is like we should be democratia. We should be so that we should be like that sounds like a Chabad thing to do, to make a protest against the fact that there's no Beis HaMikdash.
You know what I was thinking today? This is Hashem's way to prepare us what it will be like when we will have a Beit HaMikdash and all these people will storm into Jerusalem and we'll be just annoyed by the best of people.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're like slowly getting used to it, so that when people come to the Beit HaMikdash, we'll be like, oh
Can't be too big a shot.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I was trying to see the positive.
Okay. Somebody remind them that no drums during the 9 days. Okay.
Speak of the devil, eh?
Yeah. So, okay. So this is the. So what does it mean? So what do you mean Havaya? So first of all, if we want to analyze this tziruf of Havaya, so first of all,
Is it because if we were to deny the experience of loss and pain and all of that, it would be as if we were to deny reality?
right. Meaning that in Chodesh Av is the day that we're focusing on. We're not being like we're being very real. We're not painting everything pink. We're not sugarcoating anything. We're being very, very real. Okay, this is that this reality sucks. This reality is so bad. It's disgusting. It's ridiculous. That if we would be honest with ourselves, we should just be screaming. Okay, and yet that the day after Tisha B'Av, so we are already hopeful for Geula, and we're already in Shabbos Nachamu, we're already in Tu B'Av, and this is reality. This is what reality is all about. That to be really, really in the mourning, and to be really, really in the hope of a better future. Okay, like the rest of the year, we sort of just sugarcoat reality, and we say, yeah, B'ezrat Hashem, next year in Yerushalayim, and like we're not really involved emotionally in how horrible it is that we don't have a Beis HaMikdash, and we're not so happy about the hope and the dream that we know the Mashiach is on the way. Okay, so this is Havaya. This is the real reality. This is like, it's like Rav Pinkus said once that like every Shabbos has a Motzei Shabbos. Every Shabbos, as great as Shabbos is, but like after Shabbos, so then you make Havdalah, and then it's back to work. I remember feeling this. I feel this. I'm feeling this very strongly. Like when you're a guest at somebody's house for Shabbos, and for whatever reason, like there's no bus, so you have to stay until Sunday morning. So the most awkward time is Motzei Shabbos, because the whole family that you're staying by, so they're back to their lives, and you're still in vacation mode. So it's really weird. So every Shabbos has a Motzei Shabbos, and every Chag. So and Pesach. So we're into Pesach mode, and then after Pesach, it's not Pesach anymore. And Shavuos, we're in Shavuos mode, and after Shavuos, it's not Shavuos anymore. But Tisha B'Av. So you finish Tisha B'Av, you finish fasting, you eat something, you drink something, and you wake up, and it's still Tisha B'Av. Nothing changed. It's still the exact reality that we're commemorating on Tisha B'Av. Nothing changed. Nothing. It's exactly the same thing. We wake up into Tisha B'Av, and this is reality. This is Havaya. This is the true reality is really expressed in the month of Av. So.
But didn't we just say? Can I interrupt for just a second? Didn't we just say that the whole point? The only way you can feel hope is to feel the despair. The only way you can truly.
I talk about it after.
Okay.
So if we analyze this, if we analyze the tziruf of Havaya, of Hey Vav Yud Hey, so you'll notice that there's two things. The first of all, the way it's supposed to be is Yud Kei Vav Kei. Okay, so first of all, it's supposed to be the Yud before the Vav. And second of all, it's supposed to be that first the Yud or the Vav and then the Hey. Okay, so what does this mean? So very, very quickly, Okay, we've mentioned this before, but very quickly, just to understand what is the meaning of the name Yud Kei Vav Kei. So Yud represents intellect, Vav represents emotions, and the Yud is the intellect and the Vav is the emotions. So it's supposed to be that first you think and then you feel. And if it's emotions before you think, then that's messed up. Okay? And secondly, so the letters of Yud and Vav are letters of Or, letters of light, and the letter He is a vessel. Okay? So the correct order is that first you have light and then you have a vessel to receive the light. Okay?
What's the light?
The Yud and the Vav is the light, and the He is the vessel to receive. Okay? That's why Yud and Vav are masculine and He is feminine. Okay? Because the masculine energy is the light and the feminine energy is the vessel. Okay? So in the name of Havaya, so what do we see? So we see that first of all that there's two things which are backwards. In Vav He, in He Vav, so Havaya, He Vav. So first of all, it wasn't supposed to be the Vav first. It was supposed to be the Yud first. So the Vav is first. And second of all, it's He before Vav. Okay. So what does that mean? That first of all, the vessel is before the light. What does it mean? The vessel is before the light. That when the light comes, so the vessel comes to an empty store, and then when the light comes down, so there's no vessel, so it just scatters. And that's the churban, that's destruction. Okay, so the beginning of the month is complete destruction. The first of all, that the emotions is before the intellect, and that Hashem, so to speak, was a little bit. What's the word? That he was working. He was acting without thinking. Like the pasuk says that the b'shetzav kesef hastira einai mekam, that with a moment of anger, I put my eyes away from you for a moment, and then that's when the destruction came. So it's as if Hashem was impulsive, and that his emotions were getting the better of him, and that's where destruction comes from. Destruction comes from when our emotions are able to take control. That's expressed in the fact that the Vav is coming before the Yud, okay? And that's where destruction is. If a person is going to let their emotions take the lead, then they're doomed for failure. And afterwards, and then the second half of the name is Yud Kei. That is precisely the order of Tikkun. Okay, that's the way it's supposed to. Then we start from scratch after the destruction. So then we start again. Okay, and this is something very beautiful that the Kotzker Rabbi writes, that after Tisha B'Av, so it's a new beginning. It's a rebirth. And that's why in Shabbos Nachmon, so we have the Ten Commandments, and we have Shema Yisrael, and this is like, okay, we're born again, and like, let me teach you how to be a Jew. Okay, say after me, Shema, Shema, Yisrael, Yisrael, and like we're getting the Ten Commandments again. We're reconnecting. Okay, we died and we're back from the dead. Okay, and that's the Yud Kei. That's the Yud Kei after the He Vav. And this is what the month of Av is really saying. Yeah.
I'm confused. If the light comes down before there's a vessel, then where's light coming down to? Like, shouldn't the vessel first come down and then the light goes into it?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
That's what I thought the He was there for. You're saying the beginning, the vessel's there, and then afterwards the Vav and the Yud come, and then the vessel can catch whatever needs to be caught.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that's the whole point of it. I thought that's what you're going with.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think you went somewhere else.
You're probably right. From our perspective, we need to have the vessel before there's a light. But from Hashem's perspective, so first you need to have the light before the vessel. Don't forget that when Hashem is creating the light, he means that He's creating the blessing which is going to come down. So how could He make a vessel before there's anything to be a vessel for? It's like, for example, the vessel is about containment. Vessel is about confinement. So once you have blessing, then you can confine the blessing into the vessel. But if there's no blessing, so then you're just confining. So but you're just confining for the sake of confining. That's tragic, right? There's people who are just into having boxes. Into what exactly are you boxing? Not just we need rules for the sake of rules. That's tragic.
Sounds very Kafkaesque to me.
Okay. Okay. So now. So that's a very like general. So to summarize what we have so far, so we know that there's a beautiful tov, that it's about tet, it's about hod, it's about the glory of the world which is coming down, which is and however it's hidden. It's the tet is the ganuz, it's the or ganuz ve'ar lokim kitov, and this is the tishrei achileda, the 9 months of pregnancy, is that everything is concealed, everything is hidden, and afterwards, after then we get to the middle, so then it starts turning around. Now, the constellation that we have in the month of Av is Leo, and this is Mazal Aryeh, lion. Okay, so what do we know? So what do we know about lions? What do we know about Aryeh? So first of all, a lion is the king of the jungle. Okay. In Torah we don't say king of the jungle. In Torah we say he's Melech HaChayot. Okay, we do say that he's the king. It's implied that he's the king from that it says and that it says in Yechezkel, it's referring to Hashem's Merkava, Hashem's holy throne, that it has on the 4 sides of the throne. It has pictures of the 4 kings of reality. So it has a person, it has a lion, it has a eagle, and it has a bull. Okay, the bull is the king of the behemoth, the aryeh, the lion is the king of the wild animals, and the eagle is the king of the birds, and the man is king of all of them. So it's a true thing that he's the king. He's the king. There's it's not just it wasn't Disney that made it up, the Lion King business. So it's so part of being the king is being a leader. Okay, so part of the personality of Leos is that they have leadership qualities, they have good management qualities. This is obviously why our favorite Leo is going to be the Melech HaMashiach. Okay, that he's going to be born on Tisha B'Av, it's going to make him a Leo. So there's something in Leos. I don't remember, but I don't know if somebody could look up famous Leos. You'll find maybe Napoleon was a Leo. I think it's true. They're like big leaders were Leos, and so they're very loyal, they're very devoted, they tend to be stubborn, like not stubborn like Taurus, but stubborn like in the sense that they're like hard workers, but stubborn in the sense that when they have an idea, nobody's going to let them sway from their idea. And this is actually a negative quality of these Leos, and this is a negative quality that they need to work on. And this is part of the problem of the month of is that there's this energy of my way or highway. That there's this energy of like things have to be like I'm not willing to listen. Okay, and I like to have things my way, and this is a midah of destruction. Okay, so these Leos, they're loyal, they're devoted, but they also like to have things their way, and because they the people, a lot of times the people who are very stubborn about having things their way, so those are the people that are going to make it big, right? The people that a lot of the leaders, a lot of the famous people are the people that are willing to step on other people's heads and to make it to the top. Even if it would have been nicer, they could have been nicer, they could have been more humble. But the reason why they made it so big is because they insisted on having it my way and whatever it takes. Yeah. So.
Psychologically speaking, that's also disagreeable people will make better, will longer. They'll make it more achievable. That's one of the reasons why guys are more productive in the workplace than women, because they can they will say, I want to raise, and this is the reason why I want to raise. And they'll
Okay, so I think it's a bad quality. I think
Right, it doesn't have to be a good
we're
quality. It can
working.
be a good quality.
The fact that it makes you successful in this world is because we're living in a backwards world. Because we're living in galut. That in the world of tikkun, so it's not going to get you anywhere. Like when people are going to be stubborn, like it breaks my heart when people when the people who just are just obnoxious. That because they're so obnoxious, the people just end up listening to them and they get their way. And it's because we're in a backwards world. It's because we're in a world of churban, of destruction, of exile.
The world of Galut is very much about hierarchy. Like somebody is always better than the next, and valuing people like that. And the world of Gula is represented by a circle. Like the circle dances after.
Mm-hmm. Yafe.
It's more about equality. Like everybody has something to contribute. And we value everyone.
Nice. What are you going to say?
We live in a Alma
The shikra, Alma de shikra. We live in a world of lie, a world of falsehood. 1,000%. Okay, so this is connected to the tribe of Shimon. The tribe of Shimon, that the Shimon is the tribe which is connected to the month of Av. And if we look at where Shimon comes up in the Torah, so there's three events that put Shimon on the map. Number one, with the story of Shechem. Okay, the first time that he comes up in history is that Dinah was raped by Shechem, and so Shimon and Levi, they took the initiative to sneakily murder the entire city of Shechem. Okay, so this is the good brothers. This does show loyalty. This does show leadership qualities. That this does show a little bit of my way or highway. That Yaakov Avinu was very upset about this. At the end of the conversation, so Yaakov never forgave them. Yaakov never forgave them for this. He says that you made me endangered in the eyes of all of the other tribes out here, and what were you thinking? There's a whole discussion of how could they you're not allowed to murder somebody. There's no such thing as taking revenge. So there's the whole discussion of what were they thinking? How could they possibly justify halakhically what they did? And there is some justification, but Yaakov looked at it as an impulsive mistake that they did out of loyalty, and it was not a positive thing. Okay. The next time we find Shimon and Levi, Shimon particularly, but it also happens to be Levi again, is that he was together with Levi with the selling of Yosef. Okay, the fact that Yosef got sold to eventually he got to Egypt. He started by selling him to Arabs, but to sell him into captivity, to sell their own brother as a slave. So that was Shimon. So Shimon was there were holy Shimons as well. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. You can name your son after Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. I just heard this morning that for the Arizal, so I heard that today was the Yotzei of the Arizal. Your favorite. You listen to the class? Right? Good. Okay, good. So I heard that it says that Uvnei Yisrael Yotzim Biyad Ramah. That says that when we left Egypt, we were leaving Biyad Ramah. So the Targum says Yad Ramah is Beresh Galei. So Galei means with a revealed head. What is Beresh? So the Lubavitcher Rebbe said that Beresh is, if you move around the letters, switch around the letters. So Beresh is Rashbi. The Rashbi is about revelation, and the Ari is Rabbi Yitzchak ben Shlomo. His father was Shlomo, and so he was. So the Ari is also Beresh, and the Baal Shem is Rabbi Yisrael Baal Shem is also Beresh, and so all of the tzaddikim which were connected to revelation is Beresh. Okay, so certainly a Shimon is certainly a holy name.
You've already decided.
So
She's stubborn like a leader.
yeah, you can look for a Yitzchak to marry.
Yeah, see, I'm a Taurus, so I've been on the scale, both sides and why.
So anyway, so Yosef also works. So what you call it? So the when with Mechiras Yosef was also that this there's like getting things done. There's like I see things my way, and I'm not going to speak to anybody. I'm not going to take advice from anybody, and I'm just going to get it done. And last but not least, the last time we find Shimon on the stage and the spotlight is Zimri. It was the story of Pinchas that Zimri ben Salu, who was the prince of the tribe of Shimon. So he was the one that took this non-Jewish prostitute, and he was doing a sin with her in front of everybody, and like he made a big scene, like Moshe, if this is not allowed, so how come you're allowed to marry, whatever. And so he was, and like this whole thing was from Shimon. Okay, so Shimon was doing a horrible sin. He was killed, obviously, and
Didn't Levi rectify it?
what?
Didn't Levi rectify it?
I mean, Moshe rectified it, but yes. Oh, you mean Pinchas? Yeah. So we see over here this making a scene. This is it's a negative leadership quality. Making the necessity to be the center of attention is a Leo quality, and every time we find Shimon expressing this desire for leadership, it's always a mistake. It's always that he's messing up because he wants to take control. Okay, so what is the tikkun? What is the way to fix this negative trait? To be a leader, but to be in a positive way. So that's where the Sefer Yetzirah tells us that the trait that needs to be rectified in the month of Av is shmi'ah, is hearing. And like the first time that this got messed up is that we know that the first Tisha B'Av, what happened in the very first Tisha B'Av? Very first Tisha B'Av was the Chet HaMeraglim, that they came back on Tisha B'Av night, and the spies told us a bad report, and what do? We listened to it. We listened to it in a bad way. We accepted it in a bad way. We are hearing that made us hopeless. Okay, so this shmi'ah, the shmi'ah was misused in a very bad way on this first Tisha B'Av, and the rectification, the tikkun of the month of Av, is to be able to hear things in the proper way. Okay, so what does it mean? So what does it mean? What does it mean to hear things in the proper way? So what does it mean? The koach of shmi'ah. So the art of listening. Thank you. I shared a couple of weeks ago that there was a story about this, about a marriage counselor that was giving some class in somebody's house. So like different couples came, and some husband said in front of his wife that like, Rabbi, what do you do if your wife is always shouting at you? So it was horrible. Like what do you like? His wife was right there, and he's like humiliating her. Like so he didn't know what to say. So he says, oh, you're probably asking because you noticed that your neighbor's wife is always yelling. So you just hear them through the window. So tell your neighbor that it's very simple. That sometimes you have a wife that she talks to her husband, and he doesn't listen to her. So the only way that she can get him to listen is if she shouts. So tell your friend that it's very simple, that he should start listening to his wife, and she'll stop shouting.
That's a beautiful way of saying it, huh?
So this is the art of listening. That if you don't want people to scream, so very like sometimes the reason why people are screaming is simply because you're not listening, and so what does it take to listen? What does it take to listen? So there's two aspects of listening. There's two points about listening. Number one is if you want to listen. So Reb Tzadok says that the only way to really listen properly is that when we say Shema Yisrael, so what do? we cover our eyes. So Reb Tzadok says that the only way to really listen properly is by closing our eyes. It's a very interesting thing. I noticed this. I know this myself, that sometimes I prefer having an audio call than a video call. I find that I'm able to concentrate better when I'm just listening and I'm not seeing. Like when you're face to face to something else, then you don't have to concentrate on what you're looking. Then it's a reality. But when you're looking at a video, so you have to concentrate on what you're looking at, and so it takes away from your ability to perceive what you're hearing. And like when we're saying Shema Yisrael, so the only way to really listen, to really like listen, Kostin, listen Jew, listen Shema Yisrael, like everybody knows, like when like Shema Yisrael is a meditation. Right? We're talking to ourselves. Shema Yisrael, listen Jew, listen us, listen me. Like we're not talking to God. We're talking to ourselves. Shema Yisrael. And the way I'm telling myself to listen, to hear good, and I can't hear good unless I close my eyes. Okay. So to make myself vulnerable to listen, to be able to take things in, so the only way that I can really take things in is by closing my eyes. Okay? Now why is this? So Reb Tzadok explains that there's a difference between the world of sight and the world of hearing. This is something we spoke about. I believe we spoke of this in our class about Tammuz as well. That seeing is finite and hearing is infinite. Okay, and that's why when Hashem reveals at Mount Sinai, so it says Tmuna inchem roim zulatiko, that you hear Hashem's voice, but you can't see Hashem's face. That there is nothing visual. There is nothing to see with God, because sight is by definition finite, and it's impossible to connect to the infinite in a visual way. However, hearing, sound, is something which is infinite. That's why you're able to hear Hashem's voice, but you can't see Hashem's image. So part of what we're trying to connect with when we're trying to master the art of listening is to look at things in a more infinite way. Okay, in a more infinite way, meaning that to focus on the fact that there is more than meets the eye. Okay, that as long as I'm opening my eyes, as long as I'm looking at the world in a visual context, so then I'm never going to be able to listen properly. As long as I'm opening, as long as I see, so like I think that I get it. When I close my eyes, then I realize I don't get it, and then I'm able to listen. I'm able to be privy to deeper ideas. Okay, to make that decision that I don't think I understand, I don't think I get it. Okay, and that's what it means to close our eyes. The second aspect of hearing, that if you really want to listen, so the only way to listen is to stop talking. Okay, and so this is the problem of people that are fighting. This is like the reason why so many people disagree, why people are always fighting, is because they talk at each other. They don't talk. They never listen. They never. Sometimes people they're listening for the purpose of refuting. That like as soon as like I'm listening to you just so I can pick up on some word that I know, that I can remind you that like, how dare you say that, and like, but I'm really not trying to listen to what you're really trying to say. I'm listening in order to get you down, in order to knock you, and that's not listening. That's not like that. I heard of this interesting exercise that to have a conversation with somebody, that the rule is that each person talks for 10 minutes straight without any interruption. Without any interruptions. That first you talk to your, that you just a monologue for 10 minutes straight, without any critique, without any corrections, without any responses, without just nodding, just hearing, just listening, and then you get to talk back for 10 minutes. And then they don't say anything. They just totally hear you out. Can you imagine? It sounds so hard, that's real listening. That's real listening. Listening without any intention to tell you why you're wrong, and without any intention to even to tell you that you're right. There's just listening. I'm just listening without any response. Just to take it in. Okay, so so in order to listen, I need to stop talking. Okay, and this is the secret to really learning new perspectives. Okay, so it says that both of the temples were destroyed. Both of the temples were destroyed on Tisha B'Av. The first Beit HaMikdash was destroyed because of Avodah Zarah. The second Beit HaMikdash was destroyed because of Sinat Chinam. So what was the problem of Avodah Zarah? Avodah Zarah is that we needed some visual way of connecting with God. Okay, that we couldn't close our eyes. Okay, we couldn't have this spiritual model that I need to have control. I need to understand who I'm serving. I need to have that everything is something that I can put into some kind of box. Okay, that's the problem of Avodah Zarah. Avodah Zarah is that I need the God that I'm worshiping to be something that I can contain him. Okay, I can put him in a place, and that's to close my eyes and say, well, I'm living in the reality of Havaya. That's too much. Okay, I need to have it. I'll serve you. I'll kill my whatever. Do all whatever service of Avodah Zarah. I'll do whatever it is, but I can't deal with a God which is completely over everything. So that he is reality. So the first Beis HaMikdash was destroyed because of the sin of Avodah Zarah, which was our disability to close our eyes. And the second Beis HaMikdash was destroyed of Sinat Chinam, of baseless hatred. And the reason why we had baseless hatred is because we couldn't stop talking. It's because we couldn't really hear the other person out. Okay? And this is mamish. It's mamish like the biggest problem. The biggest problem that we have is that we don't when people say something that we don't like, so like it's so easy to tell them why they're wrong. It's so easy we tend to not be willing to accept that somebody else that says something different than us could have something to say, because we say, well, if somebody that says differently than me has anything to say, then that means that I'm wrong, and so that means that I'm worthless, and that means that I'm nothing. And so the only way that I can get back my self-esteem is if I put you down, and that is where all the big fights come from. And if we would just be able to listen to each other, if we'd be able to really hear each other out, then that we would all say that, yeah, you have a point, and they would say, yeah, you have a point, and then we could be able to make peace, and we could be able to come to some new level of understanding which incorporates all of the goodness in you and all the goodness in me, and that's where real tikkun comes from. So the Melech HaMashiach, our favorite Leo, so he has the greatness of leadership. However, he is the opposite of egocentric. That the greatest leader is someone who is completely loyal to his nation, to his people. And true leaders, that Rav Kook would sign in letters that he would sign Eved La'am Kadosh. He was the chief rabbi of Israel, and he looked at himself as a servant to a holy nation. Okay, so that the king of Israel, that David HaMelech is the David Melech Yisrael Chai V'Kayam, that the quintessential king of Israel. So he is priding himself in the fact that he's so humble, that he tolat v'lo ish, I'm like a worm, I'm the disgrace to mankind. He looked at himself as that I have no identity. It's not about me. It's about you. It's about that. Let me just be your voice. Let me be your servant. Let me try to actualize the goodness of what you have to say. And this is the David Melech. He was the one who was always asking questions. That he had. It says, the Gemara says that whenever he had halacha questions, he had his rav that he would ask. Like, just because I'm the king of Israel does not mean that it's my way or highway. It doesn't mean that like I have people that I take advice with, that I take responsibility. I take responsibility for whatever's going to go on, but I certainly don't think that whatever I thought is the way that it needs to be. And this feeling of responsibility, this feeling of that I am simply expressing that what everybody else needs. So this is the way that the Melech Mashiach is going to save the world. He's going to teach us how to listen, and by showing how he is able to listen so well, he's going to be able to hear all of the goodness that everyone has to say and actualize it. Okay, and this is mamish the biggest tikkun, and and this is how we bring back the hod, how we bring back the greatness and the glory into the world. So this is mamish how we're going to make the world into a better place, and the way that we can really like bring this down, like bring this really, really practical, is to practice with listening, to practice with realizing that just because I thought something doesn't mean that I'm right, doesn't mean that it has to be my way, and to be able to you're talking about how to get somebody to swerve when you're when you're going in the same place. That's mamish like that. The biggest tikkun of Av is to always be the one that swerves first. To always be the one that, you know, Shlomo Zalman Auerbach said that he never had controversy in his life, because like if it ever seemed that the two people, that he and someone else were going to have some kind of merging at the top, so he would always swerve first, so that he would that's what, like, after like the motto of Chodesh Av is after you, and like just like whatever you say, and then of course that our friend is going to say no after you, and that's how we bring tikkun. That's the great shmiya. So B'ezrat Hashem, we should really be able to make ourselves vulnerable to new ideas, and through this we're going to become greater people, and through this we're going to become a greater nation, and through this we're going to bring down the energy of the Mashiach, is going to be able to bring down all of the greatness into the world. B'ezrat Hashem.
Amen.